guys, it's Corey again, and today I'll just be giving you my first update on level 3 of the Player's Path. So my first takes were pretty sloppy, had a lot of missed notes, but now I've had a few days to practice and just familiarize myself with the track really, so hopefully we'll be sounding a lot better. After that, feel free to stick around. I'll just quickly be breaking down what I see and basically how I plan to practice for this thing to really get that technique dialed in. But first up, I'm gonna just show you the track of me playing the song, see where I'm at after a few days of practice. Alright, so that's where I'm at with the track now that I've had a few days to practice it. I think I'm already sounding a lot better. Just overall it's more clean and consistent. Definitely missing a lot less notes, but a lot of that just kind of came with learning the track and just being familiar with what I actually have to play, as I mentioned before. So I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get by just playing this thing over and over. So to really nail it, I've broken down into 4 different categories I want to work on specifically. So those are rhythm, fretting technique, plucking technique, and muting. The first thing I need to work on is my rhythm and timing. I think from listening to it, the timing's pretty good for the most part, but it's a little inconsistent. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. And definitely the trickiest parts are that one drop at the start, and I think in the 18th bar there's another one. So those, and then the quarter note triplets, I'm having a little difficulty with. Just making sure I get those consistent and nailed every time. You can see here what I'm talking about with coming in late and then having to rush into that triplet section. So next up is going to be my fretting technique. Specifically, I'll be working on the flying fingers, my hand posture, and then just making sure I'm fretting in the right spots to reduce the buzzing in my notes. As you can see, when I don't pay special attention to it, my fingers tend to go all over the place. So that's something I'm going to be working on. Luckily I found a bunch of different exercises to work on this, so I'll be sure to practice those pretty regularly over the next few weeks, and hopefully that'll just become more second nature over time and I won't have to constantly be thinking about it. Next up is buzzing. So this is kind of a given. I mean, I've only been playing for a couple months, so of course I'm not going to be perfect at hitting my notes, but lots of room for improvement there, so I'll be working on that as well. figured it would be a good time to start learning arpeggios and scales, because it's a lot of just bouncing between different notes. So I think it'll be really good exercise in getting all four of my fingers engaged and consistently hitting those notes in the proper spot. And then last up I have just like the posture of my hand. So I just want to make sure I'm paying attention to this early so I don't get too far into my bass playing and then just realize that my posture is just all off. And I'd hate to get so far just to realize I can't really progress anymore just due to poor form and technique. So I'll really be focusing on keeping that thumb in the back of the neck and sort of centered in between my hand, making sure I'm not like curling it over the neck fretboard, and then just making sure my wrist sits naturally. And next up is my plucking technique. This is one area I actually feel pretty good about right now, especially as a beginner bassist. As far as I can tell, I think I have pretty decent plucking technique, but my focus here will be to work on just my alternate plucking and definitely raking with both fingers. I'm going to be working on this in a general sense rather than like track specific, is because first of all, the plucking pattern for this track isn't that complex. It's just kind of back and forth. But also, again, I would hate to progress too far and start trying to play faster songs and more complex songs and realize that my technique is all wrong, and basically end up having to go back to the basics and start over just to play more pieces. So definitely something I want to work on at this stage, and I'll be incorporating that regularly. So last up is going to be muting. I don't think my muting technique is terrible, especially for only a few months into playing, but I know this is pretty essential skill for being a good bassist, so something I definitely want to focus on early on. And especially for this track, there's a lot of quarter notes and staccato notes, so there's a lot of notes that have to ring and a lot that have to be muted. So if I want to play this cleanly and perfectly, it's going to be needed. I mean, there's no way around it. So I'll be practicing that. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this update, and like I said, I'll be practicing these skills a lot in the coming weeks, so be sure to watch out for more updates. And if you have any suggestions for what else I could work on, or any recommendations for exercises or practice routines, feel free to let me know down below. That's what this is all about, is community, so any way you can help is much appreciated, and hopefully I can do the same for some of you guys. But that's all I've got, so thanks for watching, and good luck with your own practice, and we'll see you next time.